Greetings. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2, and I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2, and I'm here with Jason Voorhees, apparently. We, surprising by his absence, is Dark Knight 1987. And me and Jason are going to talk about his movie. Enjoy. Greetings, you guys. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 with
Dark Knight 1987.
Where the hell did you go?
I just stepped away for a minute. I mean, I had to.
Jason was here.
Really?
Jason Voorhees was here. Where the hell did you go?
I just had to go get something in the room real quick. I just stepped away for a minute. I was only gone for a minute. How was I gone?
Anyway, well, Dark Knight 1987 is here.
I'm back
you
again.
guys saw Jason at the beginning.
Apparently.
For some strange reason, Jason showed up here.
Yeah. Well,
why? I don't know. But maybe it's because we're going to talk about his movie tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about the very first Friday the 13th. This movie came out in 1980. This film was produced and directed by Sean Cunningham and written by Victor Miller. Now, Victor Miller, let's talk about him real quick.
Sure.
Victor Miller, the guy that originally wrote this film, quite recently was involved in a court battle. Because over the video game of the same name.
Oh, yes.
That came out a year ago. I think it came out 2 years. I don't know if it's a year or 2 years. But that court battle went on for a while. And we're going to talk about that later on.
Yes,
we'll talk about that later on.
FYI.
During this review. But we are going to talk about the very first movie. This movie Jason was never part of.
No, this was before Jason.
Yeah, this was before Jason made his mark.
That's right.
The killer in this movie, by the way, spoilers, is Jason's mother.
His mother.
Pamela.
His own mother.
Pamela Voorhees. And what happens is we're going to talk about... let's see. Go. Okay.
Here we go.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so, as you know, Jason Voorhees was, Jason Voorhees. Oh, you alright, man?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so as you know, Jason Voorhees was drowned as a kid in 1957 while the cancers were out fucking. Basically.
Yes.
And, which is messed up in its own right.
Yeah.
Well, you know how teenagers are going to be. They're horny and shit.
You're young. You're young love. They want to,
Yeah, they want to do the dirty.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
So.
They want to go for the mission.
Basically, yeah.
I got that joke from Gabriel Glaces, by the way. Sorry.
Go hunt. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the first time that we seen so much like 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the first movie Kevin Bacon stars in this. In his first movie.
Jack Burrell.
Yeah. So, So we never see Jason in this movie. Oh, but he's there.
Trust me.
He's there. And we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go through the plot here.
Sure.
And we're going to talk about this whole situation.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so in the summer of 1958 at Camp Crystal Lake, two counselors named Barry and Claudette sneak away from a campfire to have sex in a storage barn, where an unseen assailant murders them. 21 years later, camp counselor Annie Phillips is given a lift halfway to reopen the Camp Crystal Lake by a truck driver named Enos. Despite being warned by an elderly that the camp has a death curse while driving, Enos warns her about the camp, informing her that a young boy drowned in Crystal Lake in 1957 and about the two murders. After being dropped off, Annie hitches another ride from an unseen person who chases her into the woods and slashes her throat. At the camp, counselors Ned, Jack, Bill, Marcy, Brenda, and Alice, along with the owner Steve Christie, refurbishes the cabins and facilities. As a thunderstorm approaches, Steve leaves the campground to stock supplies. Ned sees someone walk into one of the cabins and follows, while Jack and Marcy have sex in one of the cabin's bunk beds. They are unaware of Ned's body directly above them, with his throat slit. When Marcy leaves to use the camp bathrooms, Jack's throat is pierced with an arrow from beneath the bed. The killer follows Marcy to the bathrooms and slams an axe into her face. Brenda hears a child's voice calling for help and ventures outside to the archery range where the lights turn on. Later, Steve returns to the camp and is confronted by the unseen killer, who stabs him. Worried by their friend's disappearances, Alice and Bill leave the main cabin to investigate. They find a bloody axe in Brenda's bed. The phone's disconnected and the car's inoperable. When the power goes out, Bill goes to check on the generator. Alice heads out to look for him, discovers his body pinned with arrows to the generator's room's door. She flees back to the main cable to hide, only to be traumatized further when Brenda's body is thrown through the window. Soon after, Alice sees a vehicle pull up and rushes outside, thinking it is Steve. Instead, she is greeted by a middle-aged woman named Mrs. Voorhees, Pamela Voorhees,
to be exact,
who claims to be an old friend of Steve's. As Alice brings her inside, Mrs. Voorhees sees Brenda's body and begins to reminisce that her son Jason was the young boy who drowned in 1957. She blames his death on the counselors who were supposed to be watching him, or instead having sex and not paying attention to Jason's drowning. Revealing herself as the killer, Mrs. Voorhees turns violent and rushes toward Alice with a Bowie knife. Attempting to kill her, following confrontation where Mrs. Voorhees is knocked out, she finds Alice at the shore and attempts to kill her again with a machete. But Alice gains the advantage and decapitates her with a machete. After a traumatized Alice boards and falls asleep inside a canoe, which floats out on Crystal Lake. Just as Alice awakes and sees the police arriving, Jason's decomposing body suddenly emerges from the lake and drags her underwater. She awakens in a hospital where a police officer and medical staff tend to her. When Alice asks about Jason, the officer says that there was no sign of any boy. Alice says that he's still there, as the lake is shown at peace. So, we do see Jason
at the end
of the film.
Yes, we do.
And for those of you who are trying to think, where the hell was Jason the whole time? Well, Jason died.
Mm-hmm.
1 year before. 1 year before the
That's right.
The murders. 1 year before they started going in. When did this take place? It happens in 1958, right? Or no? Because it doesn't ever say.
No, but
so we don't really know exactly the year on this. I think. Oh, Oh, so 21 years later. So
Okay.
it happens. So I guess it's like 1980
Gotcha.
when this happened. Okay, so that's it. So yeah, that's
I figured that.
okay. So anyway, what I like okay, I'm gonna have to say this: the best kill is the one with Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Kevin Bacon is, I think Kevin Bacon is like laying down in the bed or something like that.
That's right. After
And then, yeah, I guess he's like reading a book or something like that, or listening to some music or something. I don't know. I don't really remember all that much. And then we see something go through his throat. We see, I think it was the arrow.
Yeah.
That goes through his throat. Who does he play again? Jack
Burrell.
So, okay. Oh yeah, Jack's throat is pierced with an arrow from beneath the bed. Okay, so I think that was one of my favorite kills. Is that and not to mention the fact that we don't know who's doing the killing. No. We don't know who's doing the murders.
At first, we don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't see who it is, and then toward the end, we find out that it was Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah.
Who was getting revenge for her son because her son drowned, and nobody cared. Nobody paid attention to it.
Yeah, because they're out like always, being kids,
teenagers,
having sex, drinking, smoking,
alcohol, man, what have you.
The horror movie tropes,
if you will. So
that they made fun of and fucking scream.
Of course. So that's basically what's her mission was, to get revenge on the But these were a new group of people who were going to be fixing the camp up and welcoming them into new generation of kids.
Yeah.
And so, but Mrs. Voorhees says, well, instead I'm just gonna. So, yeah, it was basically revenge for her son. But at the end, we do see what was to be known as Jason Voorhees now come. Well, he steps in and takes over as he does the killing. So we'll talk about more.
We'll talk about more about it as we go down the line for the Friday the 13th movies.
That's right. Excuse me.
This is what started Jason as a horror horror slasher. Before him, it was a Michael. Before him, it was Leatherface. But Jason, to me, was they call Michael Myers the Shape. Yeah. I think Jason Voorhees was a force. Was a force to be reckoned with. Exactly. Especially after, years since he began his killings in 1980. 4 years later, it was Freddy Krueger. We went down the line with that.
Yes, we did.
Later on, these two monsters will face against each other, and Freddy vs. Jason.
We'll talk about that.
And we did the review a while back. So if you want to take a look at the video, it's up on the channel.
But yeah, I'll say my thoughts about that real quick later on.
But Jason's legacy has been very dark because of the fact that he started as a kid who was drowned. His face was disfigured. That's right. As a child, and he kept getting bullied. He was bullied as a kid, which I think they kind of cover. I think they cover it in Freddy vs. Jason how he was as a child. And I kind of felt bad for him.
I do too.
You know what I mean? Because
we know that coming from experience. We have dealt with that when we were in school. We have dealt with our share of, pardon my French, we have dealt with our share of assholes. Yeah. So we feel for this kid because
and even on YouTube, I've dealt with that time and time again before too. But even still, I think Jason was that kid that you want to like, but then he couldn't help himself with killing because he hated the fact that people. I think he hated I don't condone the killing, but I could see why he killed. Exactly. Because the people that were supposed to be watching him, they were out having sex, they were out smoking, they were out doing bullshit.
Yeah, they basically let him drown.
And they let him drown. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, basically, I think Jason was very misunderstood.
Yeah, very.
You know what I mean?
Very.
But that doesn't condone the amounts of murders that he's fucking committed.
Nope.
In the what 38 year,
I would say,
saga and of his life, starting first with the first Friday, ending off with he killed people in space.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
He killed people. The one that people hates the most is Jason Takes Manhattan.
That's the one that,
which I thought was kind of dumb.
yeah.
Why are you gonna take him out of his? Why are you gonna take him out of his range, which is Camp Crystal Lake?
His turf, his home.
You know what I mean?
And
another one that I think people hate the most is kind of Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
The Final Friday.
Final Friday.
Because it deals with the supernatural aspect for Jason, which I don't mind. I don't really mind. I like Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh yeah.
I thought Jason Goes to Hell was a pretty good movie. But we're getting off topic. So
it's all right.
But it's good to talk about the other movies. It's good to talk about the other movies with this one because this is what started Jason. This is what started the movies. This is what started the franchise.
That's right.
The beginning of one of the most notorious icons of horror.
Exactly.
In the history of cinema. And yeah, I love this movie. I love Friday the first one.
Same here.
Even though I kind of they kind of later on down the line, Blumhouse decided to remake it.
That's right.
Which didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Because me and him saw the remake.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that another day.
We will.
But
I haven't happened on Blu-ray. Came in a special triple pack. It was that one, then the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, and of course, Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they would later screw Nightmare on Elm Street. They would later screw.
We'll talk about that too, by the way, coming up.
You know, so they, so you're asking Grim. Well, you know a lot of the legacy behind Freddy, and behind Jason, and you know a lot of the situation with Jason and stuff like that.
Yep.
What would you rate the film? Well, how would I rate it? Well,
this is how
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Correct.
Because this was the first film. This was the first horror film. This was the first film where Jason started. This is how Jason started.
And exactly. Jason became a horror icon in the slasher genre and the horror genre because of this film. This is, even though it doesn't involve him, but his mother started it, and then he would take over in 2 and 3 and 4, that followed after that. So this is what made Jason a horror icon in the slasher genre and the horror film genre. This is what put him on the ranks of Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Ghostface. Those, because of that movie, we wouldn't know who Jason Voorhees would be.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think because this is what came up. I love Jason.
Yeah.
I love Jason. I think Jason is better character than that of while I love Halloween, while I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jason was an unstoppable force.
He was.
Jason was how he started. Jason was more haunting.
Yes.
Especially because when you know about his past.
That's right.
Jason has a more horror aspect than any other horror icon you could think of.
Exactly.
because of how he is portrayed. Jason was this killer who he was a loner. They killed him. Nobody watched him because his face was so disfigured and stuff like that. He drowned. Jason was trying to get it out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get out. To me, Jason was that kid that kept getting picked on. Was that kid that later on when he came back from hell, he said enough was enough.
Exactly.
And we went on his killing spree. That's what I think. That's what I think of.
I agree with you too.
When I think of Jason, anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he was just that kid that was at his wit's end, and when he came back, he decided to kill. And that's just to say, this is what you have done to me. I've been up for too long. I've had enough. You're dead. And I agree with you. So yeah, Jason was that. So like I said, Jason, because of Friday the 13th, Jason became a legend in the horror film and slasher genre, and we give it a 10 out of 10. That's our opinion. That's what we think. What do you guys think out there? And if you haven't seen these classic movies, we recommend that you do. Give us your opinion. Let us know down in the bottom in the comments below what you guys think. And again, we give it a 10 out of 10. Classic. Bar none, it's a classic. You're looking for a great horror movie, juice up, this is a movie to watch.
I love the fact that Pamela Voorhees got hers in the end.
No, of course.
And there were about a couple of years ago, they put out a documentary about Jason called "His Name Was The Legacy of Friday the 13th."
Yeah.
His name is Jason. The Legacy of the Friday the 13th.
That's it.
And the chick that played, I think it was Alice. Yeah, the girl that played Alice said that which I really would like to see. I want to see a Survivor Girl movie where all the survivors from the previous films would come together, and go after these monsters, the horror movie, horror movie icons that they had to face. I would love to see something like that. Because I was thinking about. I was thinking about the Survivor Girl. I was thinking about the first Survivor Girl, Sally.
That's right.
From Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right.
I was thinking about Laurie Strode from Halloween.
There you go.
I was thinking about Alice from Friday the 13th.
There you go.
Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy
from
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine these icons of horror against the very people that they terrorized? These people that they terrorized coming back for revenge against these icons of horror that have terrorized them for a number of years.
That's right. You imagine those survivors banding together and fighting them,
Yeah.
That's something that's worth... Yeah, I'd see that.
I would love to see that. I would like to see something like that. But let us know in the comment section down below what y'all think. And also, what Friday the 13th movie did y'all like the most?
Yeah.
Did you like the first one? Did you... some people kind of would disagree about Jason Goes to Hell, or people say that Jason Takes Manhattan was the worst one. What do y'all guys think was the better Friday the 13th film?
Yes.
Let us know in the comments down below. That's going to be it for right now. We got, I think, one more.
Yep.
Yeah, we got one more review to do tonight. And that about covers it for us. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper 512 with Dark Knight 97.
That's me.
And Jason Voorhees, wherever the hell he may be.
Well,
we'll see you all in the afterlife. Just not too much. Yeah. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 512. He's Dark Knight 97, and we'll see you all in the afterlife.